I think one of the most pernicious myths in our society is that of willpower. The reality is that no one does anything unless they want to do it. So some people are called weak-willed, other people are called strong-willed. There's no such thing. So let's go through an example of the guy who goes down, or it could be a woman, goes to the gym every day for an hour or however long. What are the forces driving them there? Well, they probably want to look good, particularly for potential sexual partners. They want to feel good, and there's a hormone boost at the end of working out in a gym. And maybe they want approval from the people around them. So there are three strong drivers there to go. The driver that would work against it is at 6:30 in the morning, when they want to stay in bed. The myth would say, well, this person has worked against their desire to stay in bed. No, it's simple. The desire to look good, to feel good, to get approval is greater than the desire to stay in bed. That's all there is to it. Willpower is not involved at all. Another example would be someone who's dieting. And say there's a piece of chocolate cake in the fridge, and because they're dieting, one part of them says, well, no, don't eat that because you're dieting, you want to look good. And sooner or later, the chances are that they'll give way and go and eat the chocolate cake. And you could say, oh well, they've got no willpower. Well, it's not the case. The bit of us that says no, or you should do this, or you shouldn't do that, is the prefrontal cortex at the front of the brain. And it gets tired fairly quickly. So it can say, no, don't do it, no, don't do it, no, don't do it. But sooner or later it kind of gets tired. And so we go and eat the chocolate cake because the bit of us that would say no is exhausted. If you want to understand the ins and outs of all this, I would suggest that you read the book Determined by Robert Sapolsky. That goes into all the neurology and the dynamics in our body that would make us do something that looks like we are super endowed with a willpower, when in fact we're not. So willpower is a myth, as is free will. There's no, and again, Sapolsky goes into that in his book. So I don't really think it's worth pouring our admiration on somebody who goes to the gym every day. They're doing it because they want to look good. And you're talking about the procreation drive there. They want to look good because they want to be attractive. And they want to feel good. They kind of get hooked to the hormone boost. And they almost certainly want approval from people around them. And you could say, oh well, might as well lay in bed all day. Well, you won't lay in bed all day. Another part of you will want to go and do something, so you'll go and do it. So the myth of willpower is really not a very nice thing, because if we see somebody who's obese, then we're going to start judging them and saying they've got no willpower. It's nothing to do with willpower. It's just whether one desire, the desire not to be obese, is greater or weaker than the other desire to eat food. And that's all there is to it, folks. And it's a programmed thing. And really there's nothing you can do about it. The failure of diets should tell you that. It's 90-something% of people who go on a diet abandon it. Because really they go into it full of bravado, but they don't really understand the workings of their brain and body. If they did understand the workings of their brain and body, they might be more successful. Anyway, the book by Robert Sapolsky is highly recommended. It's called Determined, and it will definitely open your eyes and you'll stop believing in this silly thing called willpower.